Hey everyone. So it's 2026, and let's be real. AI isn't some sci fi fantasy anymore. It's everywhere. It's in our hospitals, it's in our hiring processes, it's just part of life now. But as these incredibly powerful systems start making more and more decisions for us, we've got to ask a really, really big question. And that's what we're going to dig into right now.
Who is actually in control here? I mean, really, who's pulling the strings? Is it the huge tech companies building these things? Is it the governments trying their best to slap some regulations on them? Or, and this is the scary part, are we building systems that are already operating a little bit beyond our command? That's the nut we have to crack today.
And to really get where we are now, you've got to look at how fast this whole conversation has shifted. I mean, think back just a couple of years. 2024 was all about the hype, right? It was, wow, look what AI can do. Then 2025 hit and the tone changed. It became the year of accountability. Suddenly there were real consequences when AI got it wrong. And that brings us right here to 2026. This is the year of compliance. Governing AI isn't just a nice idea anymore. It is an absolute functional necessity. So here's the bottom line. It is no longer enough to just build a cool AI and set it loose. That era is over. The game has totally changed. Right now, there is a clear legal and, I'd argue, ethical mandate for every organization to actively govern these systems. Because if you don't, the fallout can be absolutely devastating. And this leads us to one of the biggest, thorniest problems in this entire field: bias. We often talk about AI as if it's perfectly objective, pure logic. But the truth? AI systems are mirrors. They learn from the data we give them. And in doing that, they learn our society's deepest, ugliest flaws.
The technical term for this is algorithmic bias. But I want you to pay attention to the words on this slide. This is not a random bug, it's not a glitch in the matrix, it's a predictable, systemic failure. That means it's a repeatable flaw that takes all the biases that already exist in our world and doesn't just copy them, it amplifies them. And it does it at a scale we've never seen before.
And listen, this is not just some academic theory. This is happening right now out in the real world. Just look at these examples. In healthcare, AIs trained on bias data have led to Black and female patients being underdiagnosed. In our justice system, predictive models have slapped false high-risk labels on African Americans. We've seen hiring tools that are trained to prefer male-sounding language. And in finance, algorithms have created what's basically digital redlining, denying loans to entire minority communities. These are real harms affecting real people. So how does this keep happening? Well, it's a vicious cycle. It all starts with us, a human problem. Our own history of biased practices creates flawed data. That leads to a data problem, where these skewed, messy data sets are fed into an AI. And then you get the algorithm problem. These opaque black box models automate and turbocharge those original biases. The AI's biased decisions then create even more biased data for the next version, and the cycle just keeps feeding itself, getting worse and worse. It's a huge challenge, and frankly, it's way too big for just the engineers who build these systems to solve.
And because that challenge is so massive, governments all over the globe are scrambling to build some guardrails. They're trying to figure out how to get this incredibly powerful technology under control. Right now, we're seeing two main approaches take shape. On one side, you have the European Union with its AI Act. It's this single, comprehensive, risk-based law for the entire EU. It's centralized, and its main focus is protecting fundamental rights. But then on the other side, you have the United States, which is more of a patchwork. There's no big federal law. Instead, you've got this mix of different state laws in places like Colorado, Texas, and California. It's a much more decentralized and, frankly, confusing landscape for anyone trying to operate there. And don't think for a second that these are just suggestions. These new rules have some serious teeth. If you seriously violate the EU AI Act, we're talking about a fine of up to 35 million euros, or 7% of your company's global annual turnover. When you're talking about numbers like that, responsible AI suddenly stops being a buzzword and becomes a survival strategy. But here's the thing, this isn't really just about avoiding massive fines. All these regulations are actually built on a much deeper, more philosophical idea. We have to keep humans in charge and make sure this technology serves our fundamental rights as people. It forces us to ask some really profound, almost uncomfortable questions. Like this one: should an algorithm, a piece of code, ever be allowed to make a life or death decision all by itself? This is exactly the kind of situation where that principle of human oversight becomes non-negotiable.
And the brilliant AI ethics pioneer Timnit Gebru just hit the nail on the head with this. She said, we can't automate our way out of inequality. Because the problems AI is making worse, they aren't technology problems, they're human problems. They always have been.
And that's exactly why these principles of human-centric AI are so critical. We're talking about protecting human agency, that space for moral choices that only a person with a conscience should make. We need to ensure AI respects basic human dignity and our rights. We have to demand human oversight so a real person can always step in and be held accountable. And we need transparency so we can crack open those black boxes and understand why they made the decisions they did. The whole point is to align the AI's logic with our values. So, all of this brings us to the end of our explainer, and to one last, really crucial question, a question that kind of puts everything we've just talked about to the ultimate test.
Look, the task of governing AI is monumental. It's a mix of technology, law, ethics. It's a massive global effort to get this right. But when you peel back all that complexity, the goal is actually incredibly simple: to make damn sure that this powerful tool serves humanity, and not the other way around.
This explainer was written and narrated by a generative AI. Do you still trust it?